Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is a sort of Sunday chat on a Monday, because obviously there wasn't one on Sunday. And it's effectively been a 3-day break, and that wasn't planned and it wasn't intentional, it just fell that way. I'd done videos through the week. I got to Friday and I didn't have anything to film, and I didn't stop and think that I was out all day Saturday and Hannah was here for Sunday, so we ended up with 3 days with no videos. Excuse my voice, it's a bit croaky. We did a lot of talking on Saturday and again on Sunday with Hannah down, so got a croaky voice. I'm not coming down with anything, although there's a lot of stuff going around at the moment. Got a nasty variant of flu progressing through the country, and unfortunately we've got cold-ish, damp, dank weather at the moment, which sounds like an ideal breeding ground for something like flu. Right, the Christmas lunch on Saturday. I set off at 7:15 in the morning, because I had to go and get Hannah and then go from Hannah's place across to where the event was, which was out the other side of Southampton. So we had to sort of do a big diagonal across country, which ended up being across and down because of the faster roads basically. The journey was 5 miles longer than it needed to be, but it was 15 minutes shorter, so I went for the shorter, you know. Plus on dual carriageways and motorways, you just get a move on. You see the miles whizzing past. And these little A roads that you get in this country, you know, twisty, turny, you know, villages and speed limits, and you just don't get, and slow coaches, of course. They're always there. They seem to have holidays out on the roads when I'm on the roads at the same time. Anyway, it was a crisp, cold morning on Saturday. Here it was foggy, and all the way up to Salisbury it was foggy, so that was a relatively slow run. It's in the fog. The last place you want to be is at the front. You want to be in the line of cars, so that all you need to do is worry about the car in front and the distance between you two. Just do that. And it's quite comfortable. You can't see anything, but you know, you can see enough to know like you're on the road, and you see the hedges and the trees and things, but you can't see very far. But you can see the car in front and possibly the one in front of that, so that's fine. If you're the one at the front, you've got to deal with the fog. So don't be the one at the front. Yeah, so we got to Hannah's okay, and we had to do the journey across, so roads that I haven't driven on for absolutely ages, including going through Marlborough and Savernake Forest. I did a video in Savernake Forest of our native orchids. What did we see there? We saw mostly helleborines. Yeah, green helleborine, violet helleborine, broadleaf helleborine, I think. But anyway, I think 3 or 4 different types of woodland orchids, obviously. And it's a good place for forest butterflies as well. We didn't come across any of those on that day. So the weather's not so important when you do a field trip to look for native orchids, as long as you don't get wet, obviously. But if you're going out for butterflies, the weather needs to be right for them to be on the wing. And it wasn't, basically. So we didn't see any, although I'm sure there were some there. Yes, and then we got to the venue early. We got there at 11 o'clock for 12 o'clock, so we were an hour early, basically. Kids everywhere, screaming kids charging around, woohoo! It was a kids' party, which finished before ours started. Oh, whoopee! But, there was a guy in charge of the bar area, or bars. It's quite a big place, and he was with the kids' party going on in all parts because they were charging around. He was getting quite stressed, and as part of the kids' party, there was one of the waitresses or people or persons who worked behind the bar, who didn't quite know what her job was, looking after the kids at the time, dressed as an elf. It looked really good actually. And I was waiting to talk to this stressed out guy, and she came and stood next to me. And I looked at him and I said, "Where's safety?" And he just went blank. "Sorry sir, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, here's elf, where's safety?" Nothing. She had to turn away, she laughed so much. She wasn't laughing at the joke because it's pretty pathetic. She was laughing at him not getting it. It's probably her boss as well. Yeah, so that was fun. Anyway, we just sat down next to the nice open fire, nice log fire going, had a coffee and that, and waited for others to turn up, which they did eventually, and we all sat down. The event went okay. Nobody dropped out, so nobody was off ill or anything like that. Everybody turned up on time. The usual two that were late, but not late enough to miss the start time sort of thing. Only just though. So we've got two people who are just always late. Whatever's going on, if there's a time on it, they're late. Guarantee it. Still, they got there, and that was the main thing. And yeah, the event went okay. We were served well. All our starters came out. And of course, when you got 31 people and quite a selection of starters, the waitresses and waiters, they come out with arms full of plates and start calling out, don't they? Like, who was having soup? Who wants soup? And you have to sort of stick your hand up and they'll come around and chuck soup in your lap, soup down the front and all that sort of stuff. But there was the only moans really were about the main meal, and in some cases it was people's own fault for not actually looking at the menu properly, and they were expecting something that they didn't get, so they had a moan about why they didn't get it, and then it was explained that that was not part of that meal. My only complaint was I had the traditional Christmas dinner, so turkey and all the gubbins that goes with it. And if you have a roast dinner type thing, whether it's for Christmas or not, one of the most important things for most people on a roast dinner is the roast potatoes, because you don't have them with any other meal. And I had a job, I could have done with a wood saw. They were so hard you couldn't cut the flipping things. So that took the edge off the main meal for me, not having nice roasties. I mean, that's when me and Hannah do our Christmas dinner, which we was just saying, we probably spend 2 to 3 hours preparing and getting everything ready and having our starter and doing all that sort of stuff, and then the main meal arrives, 10 minutes later it's gone. So you spend 2 or 3 hours plus all the shopping and the thinking it through, what we need and everything like that, and in 10 minutes it's done. A big pile of washing up. It is a lot of fuss for what is basically a roast dinner, isn't it? Anyway, my starter, I had pate with a chutney and a bit of side salad, and it was excellent, absolutely excellent. And my pudding was traditional Christmas pudding with a brandy sauce, came in a little jug, sort of pour it yourself job. Well, I like that, because then you have as much or as little as you want, Is that all? But yeah, that was delicious as well. And quite honestly, my main meal was good for the type of meal. It was perfectly adequate, except for those roast potatoes. They were a bit grim. You would come on now. Sorry about that. That's I don't know how loud that'll be on the camera. That's the dehumidifier firing up. It'll be on for about 2 minutes. Yes, we went for a Christmas dinner once. My sister organised it. It was just up the road from here, actually. So I wasn't living here at the time, but otherwise I could have almost walked there. And it was Boxing Day, and we had a family gathering. So it was a large group of people, including some kids. We had bullet roast potatoes. People were trying to stick a fork in them so that they could cut them, and they were flying across the table. One nearly had somebody's eye out. And that was funny. It wasn't nice because obviously you couldn't eat the flipping things, but at least it was funny. You've got to have proper roast potatoes. They've got to be right, got to be done good. So yeah, so the meal went off okay, and raffle went well. The society made a lot of money on the raffle because obviously the raffle prizes are donated, so they're effectively free. So all the money from the tickets goes straight into the funds, which was good. So yeah, it all went okay. A nice journey home and everything. And we were too full. We didn't have anything else to eat that day. Everybody was. That was the one thing that was good. All the portions were good size things. Sometimes you go out for a meal and you sort of, it arrives on a plate about that big and two little bits like that and a little puddle of sauce. You sort of, well, that was very nice. So excuse me, I tried that. So can I have some now? So, but yeah, it all went well. It was a good day. With all the planning and everything that goes into that sort of event for 31 people, all worked out fine. And I did all the money Sunday morning, which was only the raffle basically, and checked the invoices in and receipt for the meal itself, which we paid on the society's card, so no refunds to do. And yeah, that's got to go up be paid into the post office in a minute when I finish this video basically. I usually wait till after lunch because it's a post office where I pay the money in, and lots of people do things in the post office in their lunch breaks. So it's usually pretty busy, so if you wait till after 2 o'clock it quietens down a bit. But it's never that busy, it's a little country post office, so never that busy. So I'll do that in a minute, and then that's that event done and dusted for another year. And at the next meeting, which is the end of January, it's quite a long wait, but our meetings are normally the second Saturday of the month, but every third year we can't have the hall in January because they have their pantomime. It cycles round. They have 3 venues that they use, and every third year it's in our hall, so we can't have it. So we have to delay our January meeting till the last Saturday in January, which is the next time I shall see everybody. And yes, we will have a drains up at the committee meeting to discuss how the event went and what we thought of the food and everything, and make a potential, a sort of preliminary decision on whether we want to go to that place again next year or hunt high and low for somewhere else that's suitable that will take a party that large, because some places won't. They haven't got anywhere to put that number of people all in one place. Yeah, so, and then we'll probably do a hands up. Somebody out the front will say, just for those people who came to the Christmas do, hands up who thought that was okay and wouldn't mind going there again, something like that. Make them do some work. Oh, all the effort, joining in. Right, so that's done and dusted. And then Hannah and I yesterday just had a relatively lazy day, apart from I suddenly took it in my head to try the new pressure washer out on the decking and see if it would remove the dirt and the grime and all the moss that had built up and everything. I didn't stop to think about what clothes I had on, and after about 10-15 minutes of concentration, because you've got to get the jet right down in the grooves and everything like that, I realised that from the knees down I was absolutely soaked and filthy. And that was my good jeans I had on, because I wasn't expecting to do anything grubby. So I was absolutely soaked. My shoes were soaked, socks, you could bring me socks out, I was so wet. But pressure washer did a good job on the decking to get it clean enough that it could probably just get a brush off and be ready to put some decking oil on the boards that get reused when it gets repaired. Yeah, so everything's cleared out of the way. Most of the decking boards that are going to be reused, because there was no point in cleaning off the ones that are rotten, because they'll just go in the bin. There's no point in wasting the water to clean those off. I've still got a couple to do, but the batteries ran out. It's quite heavy on the batteries because it's continuous use sort of thing. and got through a lot of water as well, but you know, so be it. But it did the job, that was the main thing. And we also had a look up in the big oak tree, and virtually all the leaves are down. So what I need now is what I've got extended by a day, or 2 days preferably, but I don't think I'm going to get away with it. I need to be able to get the leaf blower and blast all the leaves up the alleyway, up into the blind end to the alleyway. We're just out the way there, they're just in a pile from previous years, I'll just add to the pile. But I need to be able to blow all the leaves that are on the garden up in under the bamboo, that's where they go. And then everything that's on the patio area, the sort of yard, and all what's on the garden goes up the alleyway. But the leaf blower won't deal with the leaves if they're wet, because they just stick together and clump, and they're not loose enough to whiz away, sort of thing. So we've just had 2 very dry days. We've got a dry day today, so far so good, and if it's a dry day tomorrow, I may well get the leaf blower out and see if I can blast the worst of these leaves out of the way. There's not going to be any more coming down now, there's just the odd one hanging on a twig, but basically the leaves are down. And one thing we did notice yesterday, while we were looking round out there, I've got some bulbs coming up. I've got some daffodil bulbs up about 6 inches. These things, when you don't go out in the garden, because there's nothing to go out there for, you don't notice these things. But Hannah, eagle-eyed Hannah, noticed something that I hadn't noticed that now needs to be dealt with. It will be my next thing to do after this video. On the bird feeders, the peanuts have gone mouldy. They're covered in mould, so they need throwing away and replacing now. And instead of filling it up, this time I'll only half fill it, because I haven't got the numbers of birds to the only thing that's going down really fast is the new big long feeder that's got the sunflower seeds and hearts in, which is where most of the activity is anyway. And also those suet balls, the fat balls, they've got mould on them as well. So again, I put 4 in there, and yes, they've been pecked at, but they haven't been depleted by much, and they've got mould on them as well, so I shall have to dump those now. So instead of putting 4 in, I'll just put 2 in. Yeah? So, and as the winter progresses, I should get more and more birds on the feeders, so stuff will get used a bit quicker. So I've got that job to do out there, and I need to get my RO unit on, but with what I've had to do this morning, and off to the post office, I've watered my mounts, I need to get the RO unit on. But the later in the day it gets, the more reluctant I am, because I'm not mucking about with that as it starts to get dark and all that sort of stuff. So I'll leave the RO unit till tomorrow. The only thing that should have been watered today, which I needed the water for, is the Phalaenopsis, and they'll go another day. They won't hurt. So we'll do those tomorrow. And when I put the RO unit on, I automatically get some jobs, because I automatically change the water in the bird bath, because by using RO water in the bird bath it doesn't get any algae in it. And at the moment it's full of oak leaves, so we can get those all cleaned out as well. So we do the bird bath, replenish that, and then I change the Deesa water as well, and then fill up all my containers. So that's all been all be done tomorrow. And that's the only watering, and it's not changing the Deesa water. I don't count as watering, because it's, you know, it's just lifting the pots out, chuck the old water away, put the pots back in, and put some new water in. It's not exactly watering, is it? It's just a water change. So that's that. Hannah was quite impressed with how much her Cymbidium has come on since she last saw it. Because last time she saw it, it had some spikes. You know, well, now it's got a spike up here with buds coming out, you know, not opening, I mean, you know, swelling up. So that's looking quite good over there. The spikes are, the plant's never going to look good, but at least the spikes are. And quite honestly, out here, the workload is down as low as it gets now for probably 2 months, or at least a month and a half anyway, where the gap between waterings is the highest it is, so my frequency is at its lowest. So the workload is right down. So that, you know, there are days after days with nothing to do out here, apart from enjoy those that are in bloom, you know, and look at the buds and spikes and see how they're progressing, you know. I'm looking forward to those coming out soon as well. So yeah, it's a quiet time. It's a quiet time this time every year, but you know, it's after the summer, you know, and the putting up with some of the heat. I don't get that much, but you know, all that sort of stuff, and having to use the RO unit quite often, and of course at that time of year you've got the garden. You know, the amount of water, because we had such a dry summer and heat with it, the amount of watering and everything I had to do in the garden. So something had to be done every single day, and sometimes the workload was quite high. Whereas now there's nothing to do in the garden apart from clear these leaves up, first chance I get, hopefully tomorrow, and just patiently wait for the spring bulbs to push on. As I said, we've got some daffodils showing through. I bet when I blow the leaves off the garden there's some other things. I'll bet there'll be some snowdrops just poking through and things like that. All those sorts of things would normally happen in January. They're happening in December because it's been so mild. We haven't had the cold yet, although Saturday was cold. As I say, it's, once I got up the other side of Salisbury, it was a white frost everywhere. Lovely clear blue sky and sunshine. And I said to Hannah when I got there, I said, you'll want your sunglasses. Why? Because I said, we're going up the A4, we're going that way this time. We're going to be driving straight into that low sun, straight in the windscreen. Take your sunglasses. She gets headaches quite bad if she gets bright light. And hers turn into migraines, which are then, you know, that can ruin a whole day. So, yeah, so, so that was the weekend. And now I'm back to sort of normal. But the work out here is next to nothing. Shortest days, I mean, will be winter solstice is coming up in a few days' time, and then the amount of daylight starts increasing. You know, night lengths reduce, days increase, but it's difficult to even notice it for the first 3 or 4 weeks. You just don't see it. But you get out into February, and then people start saying, "Oh, the days are getting longer, aren't they?" As though it's never happened before. It happens every year. And we talk about it every year. That's how it is. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that, because as I said, I want to get this trip to the post office done, then I can settle down for the day. Do you know, I had a whole day yesterday without any wine, and I didn't realise until this morning when because it's the dustbin men, the bin men come round early on Tuesday, so I usually, if next door hadn't already done it, I put the bins out into the road ready for collection sort of thing, and I always take the opportunity to take the empty wine bottles out, you know, so that they go in the bin and then get emptied straight away. And that's when I noticed I didn't have any wine yesterday. And I didn't have wine with our Christmas meal. I had a pint of beer, a pint of ale, real ale, and it makes a nice change, because you can only really have that if you go to a pub, you know, where they serve it properly sort of thing. And I don't. I just don't go to pubs anymore. I don't go out to eat because it's too flippin' expensive. And if you go out to eat, you can't have much to drink because you've got to drive. So yeah, so don't go out to eat much at all now. In fact, that meal was the second meal out of the year, and it will be the last. So this year I'll have eaten out twice. Once was our lunch, pub lunch that we had when we went to the Mathers Foundation, when we did that trip, which was a society do, and then the Saturday just gone. There won't be any more. Oh, we might have something to eat on Boxing Day when we go and meet up with my son and his crew. So we're meeting up in what was effectively a beach cafe all its life, but the new owners have uprated it. They've taken it up market, so you know it's the waiters aren't in jeans and a t-shirt. going like that all the time. They've actually got a proper uniform and stuff like that. It's they've raised the standards in there and doubled the prices, obviously. But we may well have a brunch as such, you know, have a sort of light lunch or something like that. So that remains to be seen. But that event might not even happen. Things can change. So we shall see. Yeah, so that's about it really. I've got a new Phalaenopsis open, but that's in the kitchen and I'm out here. And I know it sounds daft, but the camera and the tripod are in the way of the door, so I can't get out. So you won't be able to see that today. I will show you the Miltoniopsis again because it is now fully open. And it is, considering I bought this blind, I hadn't seen it in bloom, and it wasn't in bloom when I got it. So it was what I call a blind purchase, not knowing what the blooms were going to be like. But I think I've picked a winner. That's a pretty good Miltoniopsis, and these blooms are pretty large. Slightly fragrant, not as fragrant as some Miltoniopsis, like the Her Alexander behind me. That's very fragrant. This is slightly fragrant, but they all seem to smell of a mixture of roses and soap. But not a strong spike, only 2 blooms, but they are large and they are very attractive. Very attractive in my opinion. So lovely colours, nice splash pattern. Miltoniopsis with the splash pattern, that splash pattern can be anything from quite small, like this one is, to actually taking up half of the lower section of the plant. And often with actual real looking splashes, you know, sort of coming out like that, you know, with drops on. So that can vary quite a bit, that patterning. This is quite a subdued splash pattern. But lovely colours, lovely colours. So very pleased with that, considering I didn't have a clue what it was going to look like. It was just a nice plant that I got at a show off of the Burnham stand, so off of Arthur at the time. And there isn't anything new that's come out. No, there isn't really. There isn't anything else to see. The one thing that is noticeable is my Disas are growing. So I thought they'd just be dormant in the winter, not died down like Pleonies or something like that, you know, where they just go totally dormant. But I thought they would. I thought they'd stop growing, you know, once the short days came, but they're not. They're actually getting bigger all the time. And it's now becoming more and more obvious that I've got quite a few blooming sized plants in those pots. So I can almost guarantee now that sometime after April, from April onwards, we will have Disa blooms. And we can sort of, those that haven't seen any, that have only heard me talk about it, that didn't see the videos of when, a long time ago when they were in bloom, will at least be able to see some, you know, first hand, so to speak. So, but we're going to get some, that I'm confident of now. Was there anything over here? I think there was. No. I mean, my, oh, I can get this out because it's at the front of the shelf. This Paphiopedilum is doing good. Now this is a very good looking plant and the buds are progressing quite nicely now. You notice how they come out of the sheath and the bud then hangs down. Now you've got 2 choices. If you stake it now, yeah, the bud's still going to hang down. But if you wait for the bud to open, the weight will arch the spike slightly. Then when you straighten it up and stake it, you lift the plant, the bloom, and you can see it better. Because they tend to hang downwards a bit. Some of them open nice and upright, but not all. But anyway, we'll have 3 blooms on there at the same time. That's going to look good. That will be good. That just happens to be at the front of the shelf, so I could sort of get at that. There certainly isn't anything else. Well, there's a nice dendrobium open over there, but it's at the back of the shelf and it's large, and I can't get at it without knocking stuff over or having to move quite a few plants, which I'm not going to do. So yes, yeah, that's what's been going on. We've got a project orchid video coming up this week. They're every 6 weeks, so it's been 6 weeks since we looked at the project plants. So we'll have a progress update on all of those and a comparison to what they look like last time, probably. That's the fiddly bit, but we've got to keep me busy. I've got to do something all day, haven't I? So that'll keep me busy. I think there's a members only video to do during this week as well. Is there? Yes, it'll be for the higher tiers, so I end up doing a video for just a couple of people basically, but I said I'd do it, so we will carry on. And the other thing that I don't think I did last week, I think I forgot, was the blast from the past, which is normally a Tuesday video, which I will probably do this week, because there won't be, apart from the couple of videos I've just said, there isn't much, there's no work to do out here. There's no sort of repotting or mounting or dividing or anything. It's not really the right time of year for that sort of thing anyway, although still get some done now and again. We did that giant coleogyny up there a while back. Doesn't seem to have suffered, the bulbs aren't shrivelling, the spike is progressing, it hasn't blasted, and so's the new growth, so that seems to have been successful. But not all coleogyny repots are successful, in as much as they have a nasty habit of stalling. They object to root disturbance, and some of them object badly and just stop growing. They just stop dead, and it can last a year or more. They're real sulkers, they are, some of them. But we've got away with that one. That's its elements are all showing signs that it didn't object to being disturbed, because it's now got a much shallower root run. Not that there were many roots to have a run, anyway. So yes, so at the moment, generally speaking, I'm pleased with the orchids. I have some that probably won't make it, but the number's very low now. Rather than worrying about like having all my rescues on a shelf, they had to have a whole shelf. Well, not anymore. They're dotted around, there's a couple. And I've got some that aren't doing very well, but may well pick up come the longer days. So we haven't got lots of stuff going downhill at the moment, which is good. Which means that the choices of types of orchids for this environment is working okay. We're not having lots of losses like we have done, which is good. So, but we're going to have to do something with these giant cymbidiums. Oh, that's my phone. I'll let it ring. If it's important, they'll get back to me in a minute. It's probably a scam call. I get one a day. It's a law firm, and many years ago I got involved with crypto trading, and I only did it for a while. It was a bit of fun. I ended up losing the money that I'd invested all in one go because I made a very silly mistake, and it was my fault, the mistake. The mistake was I had a volatile trade that was progressing at an incredible speed, and it was obviously going to stop and tail off, and I needed to be there to step in and like cash in effectively at that point, go while the going's good. And I forgot that was going on and went out. When I got back, it had plummeted like that and taken the money out of the funds. It wasn't a lot of money, but it annoyed me that that could have been a nice little bit of profit there. Which would have extended my fund, because that's all I did it for. It's like when you buy one of these scratch cards things and you win another scratch card. yeah, it just keeps the fun going for a while, doesn't it? But yeah, people, scammers, they're scammers, and they're up to no good, I know they are. They phone most days, purporting to be from a law firm, and they wish to talk to me about my crypto investments. And I don't want to talk to them, so I usually shout at them and hang up. But I didn't get a chance to hang up on that one. As I said, if it's somebody I know, then I'll phone them back in a minute. But yeah, I get emails like that as well. I get junk emails in my Orchid email, the one that goes with this channel. I get 2 or 3 of those a day in my spam folder. One from the same person every single day. And it's just an automated function, I suspect. The person, even if that person's real, does one of these, you know, if you think this way and if you get this mindset going, you'll be a much better person and much happier. Oh. And I get one of those every day, and it's been blocked effectively, but blocking it just puts it in the spam folder. It's still there, it's still under my nose. I get some of those, and in my normal mailbox, my personal mailbox, I get some in there as well. So yeah, you've got to watch out. They're after you, and this is a good time of year to have scams and stuff. There was a nice one on Facebook. I knew it was a con, but they were cats and dogs that looked like they were made of stained glass. Little shaped panels, you know, with black sort of in between them like that, with the light inside. They looked absolutely lovely. But when you start looking at the views, people had posted pictures of what they really look like, what you're actually going to get. And they were just all 1-star jobbies. It was just a con. They were just rubbish, basically. Cheap rubbish made of plastic. And a lot of them were saying, you know, that they were stained glass. Well, stained glass is made of glass. It's all in the name, you know. It's not plastic. But yeah, it was a pity. I nearly looked into getting one of those for Hannah for Christmas as a little Christmas present. It was a good job I didn't. But I'd have got to that point, you know, it was Hannah that looked it up. Because I was showing Hannah, I said, what do you think of these? I said, they're getting absolutely lousy reviews despite actually looking quite nice. But you had foreshortened pictures for a start. You had a picture of like one of these on a table, you know, with somebody looking at it, and you know, it was bigger than that somebody's head, so they looked about sort of 18 inches tall. And then when you look at the description in the tiny little writing, they were 7 inches tall, so they were only that big. And then when you actually look at what they looked like, they were damn right ugly. They weren't attractive at all. So you've got to watch out. They're after your money, they're after your details, they're after everything. Anything rather than get a proper job. You know, anything rather than do some work. But yeah, there's a lot of it about. Take care, don't get conned. Reputable sellers, okay, couple of quid more, but you get what you pay for. So go steady, don't get conned. There's people get conned out of tens of thousands of pounds, you know. You buy a plot of land on the moon. If you can't see through things like that, then lose your money. Yeah, buy a genuine moon rock. Oh dear. There's a lot of it going on though, and it is sad. Anyway, on a brighter note, back to the channel, and the channel's doing okay. I'm pleased with the gentle progress, but at least it's progress, at least it's upwardly trending, to use a trendy expression. Not even sure I know what it means, but you know. But yeah, I mean, the number of subscribers is going up. Are you one of those? Are you watching and not subscribed, and you plan on watching a few more perhaps? Well, in that case it would be nice if you subscribed. Help boost the channel, keep it moving upwards and all that. And it's on again. And basically, if you've got this far into the video, big thank you for doing that. And don't forget the thumbs up while you're there and it's under your nose. You can do that now while you're listening. There's nothing really to see, is there? Not at the moment, anyway. So the thumbs up is good. I had somebody asked about the adverts again. I haven't mentioned that before. The creators on YouTube, the people who put the videos up there for your entertainment, that do the work, they get paid by YouTube if they're eligible and they've joined that little club. Then you get paid by people watching the advertisements. Yeah, the advertisers pay to put those adverts on YouTube, and YouTube give a portion of that to the creators for putting the videos up there in the first place. Otherwise the advertisers would have nowhere to advertise, would they? It's all a little, it's been well thought out actually. And luckily YouTube, well, lucky from my point of view, they were the first one to really take off with a platform like this. Now there are other platforms around, sort of like this. They're nowhere near as good, and they won't ever get the sort of audience that YouTube's got. Ever. No matter how good they get, they will never catch up, because YouTube keeps running. So you'd be fighting a losing battle if you had a platform and you thought you were going to overtake YouTube. It ain't happening. But it's free to use for us creators. We don't get charged, and we have the potential to earn a few pennies while we're at it. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Thanks for watching some or all of those adverts, but somebody queried that, who did they say it was? It must have been Americans, not an English. Walmart. No, that's not an English thing, that's an American thing, I believe. But apparently their adverts are all over YouTube like a plague, and some of them go quite a while before you can skip out. But the money that goes towards the creator takes place where either the advert has been watched in full, which if it's like a little short one it would need to be watched in full. If it's a longer one and you don't want to watch it all, if you watch 30 seconds of it, then the creator gets some pennies, gets some remuneration. So there's that. And then we've got the memberships. You can become a member of the channel on YouTube. It's not the best way to make a regular contribution to me, but it is a way. I say it's not the best way because YouTube take a large portion. They take nearly a third, yeah, of your donation for themselves, and I get what's left. So there's that. There's also the Patreon site. Links are in the description. The Patreon site is a much more efficient way of making a donation. And you get extra perks on the Patreon site. You get extra ad-free videos, because all of the videos that go on Patreon are ad-free. Yeah, and they can't get at them because of the way I post them. YouTube just can't get at them. The video lives on YouTube, but it looks like it's on Patreon. It's only the link, so YouTube don't know it's being watched. Well, they do, but it's not classed. It's not in a category that they worry about. So, and by being on the Patreon site, the percentage that comes to me as a donation is a much higher percentage. So it's a more efficient way of making a donation. But yeah, so thanks for the support in whatever shape or form. Minimum support, watch a video. It all helps. The number of views on a video all help the channel. Is this video busy? Does it get a lot of activity? Are there lots of comments? Yeah. YouTube haven't twigged yet that in the morning when I get up, because I post during the day, and then next morning, UK time obviously, I look at my comments and do my replies. Well, if I've got 30 comments in the morning, by the time I finish there's 60 comments, because YouTube counts my replies as a comment. They're mine, I typed them in. I haven't watched the video, I created it, and they still haven't twigged that. Quite honestly, the comments, the number of comments that YouTube gives a total for should be incoming. It shouldn't include the creator's replies. I mean, I could put 3 or 4 replies on every comment as individual replies. YouTube would count them as comments. It's a bit silly, really, isn't it? But it all helps the channel, you know, number of comments, number of views, number of thumbs up, all that sort of stuff helps the channel grow. And when that thing goes off, I keep thinking I've gone deaf, you know, when you get like water in your ear or something. So that's that. And then, of course, don't forget, as it's Monday, we've just got a whole new set of hypes. The hypes are 3 a week. You can only hype relatively recently posted videos. So if you're one of those people who does a sort of binge watch once a week, you might have missed your chance to hype some of the videos you want to watch because they're now too old. But you can hype recently posted videos on channels that have less than 500,000 subscribers. And the idea is that you put some points against the video and it helps a video move up the list of presented videos that YouTube does for you. So the idea is a YouTube thing to help smaller channels grow. I think it's the first time they've ever done anything for what they deem the smaller channels. Less than 500,000 subscribers they see as a small channel. So I'm right down the bottom end of that. But at least my subscriber count is growing. That's all I can hope for. So right, I shall leave it at that for today. Go and get this processed and then head up to the post office while it's getting itself together, and then I can settle down for the day. And I suspect we might have some wine this evening with our meal, since we didn't have any yesterday. What are we having tonight? Spaghetti tonight. Spaghetti, and yeah, so we can have a nice Chianti with that. And yeah, and then fall asleep in the chair, no doubt. Saturday was a bad day for sleep. I was up my normal time early. In fact, it was 4:15 Saturday morning. That's sort of normal for me because Mojo gets me up. Basically, it's his time clock. It's his clock that's doing it, not mine. I'm usually awake anyway. But yes, and we got home tea time sort of thing. But Hannah fell asleep. She was really tired because of the hours that she works and everything. So we didn't start chatting and nattering until about 8 o'clock in the evening. And we were still going after midnight, and I was up at 4 o'clock the next day, so I only had like 3 hours sleep Saturday night. And it's sort of caught up with me today, so I'm feeling a bit tired. So we'll have a snooze in the chair at some point, either this afternoon or this evening, and we'll see how that goes. And thanks for dropping by, thanks for your support, and I feel sometimes that you people are looking after me, so thanks for looking after me. You're doing it by supporting the channel, yeah? It keeps me active, keeps me busy, gives me something to do, earns me some pennies to help out with all this lot, and yeah. Stops me sitting going too lally in the corner, you know, in a dark corner going blah, 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 which we'll get there eventually, you know. I will probably be that person one day, but not yet. A long way off of that yet. So I will see you next time. Again, thanks for dropping by.